You're listening to Rouge Radio, a proud member of the Canadian Football Podcast Network.
It's time to get the point as Rouge Radio is ready to kick off.
Ready!
The best football talk with the best in the business.
So what is the cost? You have 2 first-round picks this year because the Argos are dumb enough to trade for Drew Willie.
A few rookies.
We go directly to the on-field product. We welcome to the show the 20th overall pick in this past Sunday's CFL draft, DeAndre Wright of the Alouettes. DeAndre, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
And the occasional Hall of Famer.
Please welcome Doug Brown, who is one of the members of the current class of 2016 in the CFL Hall of Fame. Doug, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you guys for the kind words and for having me on the program.
Rouge Radio is on the air. Here's your hosts, Robert Dalton and Tony Allen.
Rouge Radio is sponsored by the good people over at Manscaped.com. Go to Manscaped.com, enter the promo code Rouge, and you'll get 20% off your order, as well as free worldwide shipping. Rouge Radio Podcast, this is episode 536, is powered by the Canadian Football Podcast Network. Gentlemen?
Oh, that seems kind of anticlimactic. Thanks, Irv. Yes, it is the Rouge Radio Podcast. My name is Robert Dalton, live here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, and Tony Allen live in Medicine Hat, Alberta. The home, well, I guess the second home of the second best team in the Western Division of the Calgary Stampeders. So. First off, before we go into further the banter, how's life since it's been a week?
Oh, still hectic, still crazy. A little bit of being at home, a little bit of being on the road, a little bit of getting to watch some sports. I don't know. It's been all right, I guess, though. Overall, kids are back at school, so
yeah,
that's always fun.
I can see that you've already gotten rid of the safety glasses.
Oh no, they're right beside me.
Okay.
I just get sick of being seen in them. These is taking way too long to get my new glasses.
Not a lot of people who only listen to this via podcast application are probably have no idea, and they plan on not even choosing to watch this on YouTube, so they don't really care what you're wearing. I care what you're wearing because God forbid, I don't mind the glasses and whatnot. I'll make fun of you, but I swear if you show up topless to one of this podcast, and I'm sure you have the same feeling to me as well. If I'm showing up,
trust me, I'm not brave enough or have the confidence enough to ever do that. So that's right out.
Yeah, listen, the way that the camera is showing it, you can only see the upper pectoral of me. You would not be able to see fully naked Dalts, and if you did, I could just tell you that I'm wearing jorts. I mean, you can tell that I'm not wearing a shirt if I ever did, but I could just.
I think everyone would be devastated if you weren't wearing jorts at this point.
I don't want to toot my own horn, as I mentioned to you during our texting conversation today. If we are knock on wood, if we're still around, we could be the exclusive podcast of the new movie Violent Night 2 that is coming out next year. A lot of people are saying, hey, you don't talk about movies that doesn't have to do with sports. My youngest daughter is filming, is part of that production. She is a extra, and she is getting the movie bug, and I couldn't be more happier for her. And she's missed a couple days of school already, but she's getting some extra tutor time as part of the film. So she is happy. She's enjoying it. It's only two days, and I'm relatively happy that it is right now just a, hey, I get to see myself in a movie, as opposed to I want to make this a career kind of thing.
Well, a movie like Violent Night, is she even going to be able to watch the movie she's in?
I don't know. This is someone who this is where, okay, PSA to parents: if you're going to have a Netflix account, we have a profile with your kids, make sure that there's a password or something for the parents account. My daughter, when she was 3, decided to go on Netflix, and we taught her, okay, Netflix, this is, you go on Access Netflix, choose your profile, and we taught her that. She inadvertently chose my profile. Guess what she watched?
But
It.
Oh my gosh. Oops.
Yeah. Now, having said that, she has not been traumatized. She's not afraid of clowns. Um, and I'm kind of surprised about that at this point, but
Hmm.
I digress. Now, I don't know if if you're hip, it's David Harbour who is in this movie, who, as you know, is Hopper from Stranger Things. He's also the Red Guardian in the new movie Thunderbolts, the new Marvel movie.
Oh, that's the one where he plays Santa.
Yeah, yeah.
I think John Leguizamo was in the first one.
It could be. I never saw the first one, but he is part of the scene that my daughter is filming, so it is kind of cool that she is like going to be within.
That's neat.
Yeah,
I
it
think it
is.
needs a filming in Winnipeg.
Yeah, it is. So
There you go.
kind of cool. By the way, shameless plug. She was also in the best Christmas pageant ever. So if you are an avid viewer of Prime Video or Crave, look for her. She's only in it for 5 seconds, but you can see her. She's there.
There
Uh,
you go.
okay, that's enough shameless plug here for us, or at least for me. Before we get into week 15 of the preview, I want to talk about something that happened. Obviously, just to make this kind of a short program, the health of Zach Collaros has come back to the forefront of the conversation online.
Hmm.
Most notably, obviously, we all know of the health of Zach Collaros prior to his trade to Winnipeg back in 2019. And I've been on record saying that if there's a team that could resurrect this guy's career at that time, it was Winnipeg. You had the offense, they had the offensive line. Fast forward 6 years later, I don't think that same aspect is there. And it shows. And now, Milt Stiegel, legendary Winnipeg Blue Bomber, has made it known that Zach Collaros should retire. I think we're all on the same point. Collaros probably should. I mean, if it were up to fans, specifically fans of other teams sometimes, but if it was up to fans, I think he might retire. And you wouldn't get an argument from normal people. I think that might be one thing that either the conversation needs to be had with Zach to say, listen, we got you for another year. At the rate you're going, you're not going to last that year.
No.
But I also, at the same time, I am not keen on forcing a guy out, because you just know that if you release the guy because you don't think it, guess what? There's going to be a team that's going to pick him up, and that guy, because he's got a chip on his shoulder, he's going to want to resign. He's going to want to sign with that team because he's got that chip on his shoulder.
You'll remember we did a show. We did almost an identical show on this about John Cornish. When he took his final concussion, we did a show on it. And I believe I was one, even as a Calgary Stampeders fan, I was the first one that said he should retire. And if he said he was going to retire, that's the right thing to do. We had the identical conversation, and he chose retirement.
Yeah. And sometimes that's the best choice. I think in John Cornish, I think he took on a position within the organization, so it made it easier. John Cornish's career probably could have lasted a little bit longer. And that's the bad part about that one. Zach Collaros has been in the CFL since 2012. I think his career has lasted as long as it probably should have.
Yeah.
And I think that's... I'm not for forcing him out, but I think that conversation does need to be had.
You know what? And if he does step back for it, and if Winnipeg or if Winnipeg says we can't, in good conscience, let you take the field again, I think is it the due diligence of every other team to say we can't put you at risk either. When does the general league-wide health of Zach Collaros get taken into consideration? And honestly, I don't think it's noble to say, well, this guy's a warrior. He wants to play. You can't force him to stop. It's like, actually, that's literally the reason you should force him to stop, because he's not going to. and you have to. And he's going to really seriously hurt himself because he doesn't know when to quit.
Yeah. And this is something that's been the negative of Kyle Walters and Mike O'Shea. Like, they've always had that fit in and or F off kind of mentality with that locker room, right? And that's fine. But there's also been some loyalty. And now you look at it, it's probably blinded loyalty. The one good thing that Wally Buono did in his latter stages, and in fact throughout his career as a coach and general manager, most notably in BC, is that he knew probably 2 or 3 years before the shelf life of a player was done. You look at Barron Simpson, legendary linebacker. Wally Buono let Barron Simpson go to free agency and sign with Winnipeg in 06. Simpson played for another 5 years. 2 of them were probably not the best of his career, but he played on then an extra 5 years after that. So I think that, Walters and O'Shea need to have that conversation with Collaros, because at this point, your blind loyalty might be doing a disservice more than you think it is. Anything else you wanted to touch on that before we move on to our week 15
Not on
predictions?
that topic.
All right. Speaking of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, week 15, let's get Irv on the line here.
Rouge Radio Podcast is partnered with the good people over at Sports Interaction. Go to sia.com/rouge and your first deposit, if you haven't set up an account yet, your first deposit will be matched up to 100%. And again, as always, Tony and Dalts say please play and gamble responsibly. Gentlemen?
Thank you, Irv. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are in Hamilton to play the Tiger Cats. The Tiger Cats are favored by 6.5. The over-under is at 52.5. Zach Collaros has been ruled out, which is notable. Chris Streveler going to get his 3rd start of the season. When I look at this, and I'll get your thoughts on this one, at 6.5 is very tempting to take Hamilton plus the points. But when you look at Chris Streveler and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Chris Streveler is 2-0 as a starter this year. And when you combine, since he came back to the CFL from the NFL last year, 3-0 as a starter. Either luck is going to be running out, or there is something to be Chris Streveler giving like a whole week worth of starters reps in this game. And if anything, Hamilton's defense, they're getting to the quarterback, not the best. Their front 7, not the best when it's stopping the run. But their secondary is locked on. I don't think we're going to see a lot of aerial attack out of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers unless we're talking like nonstop 5 or 7 yards passing, which is right in his wheelhouse. Your thoughts on this one? Where do you think this one goes?
Okay, where am I seeing this one go? Actually, I picked Rick Hamilton right out of the gate. For some reason, I didn't even really feel like I was going to waffle on this one. And last week, I guessed wrong on which was going to be the sweep of the Labor Day and which one was going to be the bounce back game for Labor Day. And just not a lot of fight from the Bombers regardless. Yes, there was some controversy. There was the hit on Collaros, which, by the way, watching it, maybe I missed something. Maybe I'm an idiot, but this is one of those cases where this was just a bad outcome on the play. There was nothing wrong on the part of the player from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I know the
I'll touch on that in a bit. You can finish that. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, but it's like every fan base, when their star gets hurt, they're going to attack it, call it dirty hit. But there is hits where people will say, "What was I supposed to do? Stop." And in a lot of cases, like, yes, you actually had more than enough time to stop. And, for people who are supposed to be able to change on the fly, make immediate reactions, suddenly, with 5 seconds to react, suddenly you have an inability to react. So there's definitely plays where the whole "what was I supposed to do" stop was BS, because they absolutely did not need to make the play whatsoever. This one was just unfortunate. Collaros didn't have the protection. We saw that hit numerous times. Actually, one of the worst ones I've ever seen. That was clean, and just getting him on the blind side was, what was it? Buck Pierce against the Tiger Cats, I think, was one of the most vicious ones. And that was just,
He had two in
unfortunately,
2011.
plain
Yeah.
and simple. He didn't get protected. And this is why we're supposed to love the sport, right? Big hits like that. So anyways, that aside, I didn't see a lot of bounce back from Winnipeg. I'm a little concerned. They're in Hamilton right now, and even if the numbers show Winnipeg being the better football club, the only thing running through my mind, for some reason, I don't even know why I popped in, because it was it now 3 years ago since I was working in Regina on that one project and all the fun I had at Mosaic. But I think that was the year I was driving from Regina to Edmonton to meet my family or something, and it should have been a guaranteed win night for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers against the lowly Hamilton Tiger Cats. And I think that Tie Cats actually absolutely dismantled the Bombers that night in an outcome that should have never happened. And for some reason, as soon as I saw this score, that game popped back into my head. And I'm like, you know what? With the unpredictability of this Bombers team and a little bit of a dark cloud with Collaros over their head, all due respect to Strevler, I'm not going to pick Hamilton because I don't believe in Strevler's talent. I just, for some reason, I'm like, Tony, you need to take the Tiger Cats in this one, 31-20.
Yeah, and I want to touch base on that hit, because a lot of people went like completely wacko on social media, because you got this, one side that takes a look at an outcome and sees a bad play. And no, I'm not saying it's a dirty play. It was not a dirty play. It was a player legitimately trying to get to the quarterback. That's their intention. And you mentioned, well, what is he supposed to do? Well, the fact is, this guy, CJ Rivas, very well could have, if he actually ducked his head, he's clean. And the end result, if Zach Collaros lands back and hits his head on the turf and gets a concussion that way, no one's saying anything. It's one of those situations where it was a play that was penalized, as it should be, that had a severely bad outcome. And you have Winnipeg Blue Bomber fans online reacting completely stupidly. First off, calling it a dirty player, calling it a dirty play. Listen, penalized hits like that do not equal stupid. It does not equal cheap. Okay? I mean, if that's the case, then by the logic, people who go offside are stupid. Like that's your logic. And at the same time, there are some people who are saying, well, what is he supposed to do? I know you just mentioned that. But, oh, by the way, nice bring back to the safety glasses. I just noticed
read now, so I got to come back on.
People are saying, well, what is he supposed to do? Not avoid contact with the head. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
I mean, again, this is a semi-clean hit with a bad outcome, a unintentional outcome with an even worse outcome in regarding to a player's health. I think that would be best describing it, in my opinion. I never went off on this on Twitter just because, just sometimes it's just a cesspool of comments back and forth. So I just kind of stayed away from it. And I felt that I'm in a safe space on the podcast to voice my concerns here with you. Get back to the program with the preview. I don't know if there's as dark as a cloud as you want to make it, as you're making it out to be, but there are some issues here that need to be resolved. I don't know. And one thing I noticed that with Trevor Harris and his passing yards, his efficiency actually went down compared to his average over that home and home series with Winnipeg. So I don't know if this is a yearly Trevor Harris going down, or if somehow that they stuck with that secondary and it got better, but it will be severely tested by that offense with Hamilton. And I think the only way that Winnipeg is going to be able to stay afloat with this one is if they really go heavy on the run. And I'm including Dembski on the sweeps. I think they can get that done. Brady up the middle and Streveler to scramble. I don't think they have the front four to limit the run game, to force Streveler into passing. I don't think so. So that if they commit to that kind of run game, Winnipeg can make this close. If we see in the first quarter where for some reason that they are convinced that they can make Chris Streveler drop back and throw 20, 30 yards a game or a play, it's not going to get it done. Winnipeg or Hamilton's going to eat their lunch. At that point, I do think Winnipeg does cover the spread on this one, but I will have Hamilton winning this one 30-25. Probably maybe a pick six or a punt return from Winnipeg to make it a little bit more interesting. But that is my final preview there. I dropped the phone there. Next game is the Ottawa Redblacks, a rematch of last week's debacle in BC. The BC Lions are favored by 9.5, and the over/under set at 58.5. I don't think I really need to talk about this much. I'm still believing that the BC Lions are a very meh team, and I think that Ottawa is. I think falling. Everybody's pointing out that Dustin Crum led a comeback or a crumback. They came back, so they could easily beat BC. But Ottawa has this penchant of falling behind very early and often and relying on coming back a lot. And I always say that these home series always favors the team that lost that game. I know, notwithstanding what we talked about last week in regarding to Banjo Bowl, but I do think that there's no comparison in this one. I think BC is clearly a better team. And even though that BC does have their faults and well talked about, I do think that they come out with the dub on this one. Ottawa's just not so good on the road. BC does win this one. Maybe Ottawa covers the spread just because I'm not convinced that BC is that much better. But BC wins 30-22. Tony.
Yeah, just to avoid being redundant and just repeating what you just said.
Just say ditto. That's
same thing here. Yeah, same thing here. BC 28, Ottawa 14.
Okay, so you got BC covering the spread. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
The Edmonton Elks are in Toronto to play the Toronto Argonauts. The Argonauts are favored. Are they favored? Holy crap! 3.5 points, and the over/under set at 56.5. If I'm going to do a lock of the week, take the over. That over looks very tempting on this one. You got Nick Arbuckle and that offense that just got pulled back from the NFL that seems to be running very smoothly. Who needs Chad Kelly? We got Nick Arbuckle. Cody Fajardo has that Edmonton Elks offense, and Justin Rankin. Can we talk about Justin Rankin? I know this might not mean a lot coming from this podcast who started out the year just talking up Drew Brown as MOP. God damn it, Justin Rankin should be the MOP of the season. I think I'm on Justin Rankin MOP watch, in my opinion. At this point, because this is the John Candy night where they're celebrating the life of John Candy, I'd like the home team in this one. Toronto does seem to bring it to a different level at home, and they have they want to get back and even against that abysmal performance against Edmonton a few weeks ago. So I've got Toronto covering the spread on this one. Take the over on this one. I feel like we're going to be good for a shootout here. Toronto wins 35-31 over the Edmonton Elks. Tony.
All right. I hope I'm back because I just got a notification I lost connection, but I seem to be here and running again. So I'll assume everything is smooth. And yeah, I think I want the Toronto Argonauts to win this one because of the events that are happening. And it's all about John Candy right now. Mm-hmm. So it would be nice for them to win. And honestly, I don't know if I'm taking the Elks seriously. We kind of started the season with me saying I've finally given up on the Elks dream that they're actually starting to rebound and get better. And I mean, what does the win over Calgary mean? I don't know, because Calgary wore their ass like a hat the week before. So it's like, what does it mean with the Elks?
Mhm.
I'm not sure. And in Toronto, and they I don't know. I think they're going to win. I've got them 28-10 just because I really don't know what to believe in the Elks right now. And one week it looks like they could be okay. The next week they got nothing. The week after that, all of a sudden, Fajardo is back to his old ways, and then suddenly they're just not. They have no offense again. So I just don't have enough faith in the Elks to pick them in back-to-back weeks.
Yep, definitely. Last game of the week is the Montreal Alouettes in Saskatchewan to play the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The Riders are favored by 7.5 points. Over-under is set at 50.5. And guess what? There is less than 3,000 tickets sold to New Mosaic Stadium for their third sellout of the year. Hopefully they can get that done because I've got a lot of posts to say about Scott Moe and about how Canada is broken available. So just to make this a political show. McLeod Bethel Thompson has been reactivated. Looks like he's going to get the start in Saskatchewan or for Montreal in Saskatchewan. And my opinion, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I think like we saw what Saskatchewan did to Montreal a few, a month and a half ago with McLeod Bethel Thompson at the helm. Coming back, I don't see this one ending any different. Safe bet is Saskatchewan covering the spread. Take Saskatchewan plus the points. I'm not too sure about the over-under, but at this point, Saskatchewan doesn't need a very high-powered offense to get past, but that defense is probably going to make McLeod Bethel Thompson's life a living hell. I've got Saskatchewan winning this one 25-14 over the Montreal Alouettes. Where do you got this one going?
Unless your name is the Calgary Stampeders, you probably don't have a lot of chance against these Riders this year. And as long as your name isn't the Calgary Stampeders, the Riders probably look forward to playing you this week. And they're the real deal. They are the number one team. I believe I stated it last week too. I made my joke about the Stampeders, but I mean, there's no question, and there's no use trying to argue it. And I think this is the easiest pick out of the 4 games this week. 39-14 Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Oh, you're going that high.
And continue to, and they're going to continue stretching up their lead in the West. Well,
there we go. Yeah, we both got Saskatchewan, we've both got Toronto, we've both got BC, and it looks like we both got Hamilton. Do we? Yeah. So we're 4 for 4. This might be the easiest week to go perfect. I'm going to have to make sure that Mr. Perfect theme is live and ready to go for next week. Anyway, well, that'll do it for this week's podcast. Tony, any final thoughts before we head up?
I do. And the answer to the trivia question is 12. 12 years is what it took for us to remember it took us how long to forget that NFL and Buffalo Bills football will not work in Toronto. This is not an exciting new initiative. We did this. It failed. I don't even think the previous initiative even ended. The Bills just gave up. Those games were just as equally poorly attended as any other Toronto Argonauts football game was. And it was so bad, I do believe the Bills just packed up, stopped coming because it was useless. This is not a new initiative. This is not a commitment. This will not be better planned than the original one. It is going to fail. If anyone wants to believe this is different, if anyone wants to believe that this will be a great marketing opportunity, great. But all this is poor relationships between Canada and the US right now. And the Buffalo Bills must have saw their Canadian sales drop. So this is nothing more than the high school quarterback winking at the geeky girl so she'll keep doing his homework. They don't care. This is not an initiative that could change the face of football in Ontario and Buffalo. It is not. It will fail 100%. This is not going anywhere. And Again, the answer is 12. The number of years it took everyone to forget how, at the end of the day, there is no Buffalo-Toronto interest between that failed initiative, between the failed bowl games, the International Bowl that I think had 40 people there because the NCAA put a game in Toronto. It's a joke. But for some reason, every couple of years, we like to pretend that there's something there between NFL and Canadian NFL fans. And it's not. There is a lot of Canadian NFL fans.
Oh, yeah.
But there's no future. This is not going to lead to anything other than this agreement between Buffalo and Toronto ending again. The only thing that will amaze me this time is if it actually makes it to the end of the season, whatever this initiative is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I honestly don't get the end game for this one. I really don't.
Yeah.
If we are under the impression if Canadian media hasn't lied to us, then the statement that Canadians care more about the NFL than the CFL, then what purpose does the Buffalo Bills have up here to grow the game in the NFL in Canada if it's already more popular than the CFL? Right? Where's the logic in that? And then you talk about from the Argos perspective, what purpose? What purpose? Like you're going to market the Buffalo, you're going to get the Buffalo Bills involved to market the Toronto Argonauts. Like why couldn't you market the Toronto Argonauts yourself? Like what the hell is MLSE doing here? Yeah. Like what's the end game? And I mean I'm at the point where I'm just I'll give it some time, and I'm like you with the previous attempt, the bar is extremely low. I'm going to give it some time. But I'm not going to be like, if it starts out crappy, that's it. That's it for me. I'm just going to just kind of laugh at it at that point.
I just remember the video clips of how much Bills players didn't care by the end and just openly admitting, I don't even want to go up there and play football games. Like, whatever, do what you think you need to do. The NFL isn't expanding to Toronto. They don't care. Again, I've said this numerous times, and if I need to go on a profanity-laden rant again,
do it.
I will. The NFL doesn't care about it's not going to expand to Canada because they have their American dream. They are all American teams with all American players. Again, there's some Canadians are the second largest nationality in the NFL after Americans, and it's only like 9 people, opposed to basketball and hockey and other sports where nationalities make up the most of them make up 40%. Then the next one is 20%. Basketball has more international flair in its players, but I mean, there's 9 Canadians or something in the NFL, and that's the second most nationalities. It's number 2 in other countries. They don't care, guys. Fine, tell yourself. If it makes you feel nice, whatever. Blow me off then. But it's the NFL isn't going to put in, and it's probably why they're doing this. It's we don't want to have a team in Canada. We'll let the Bills go up there and play a handful of games, and they'll be happy.
Exactly. And on that note, you can find us on social media at Rouge Radio, myself at Rouge Dalts, Tony at Tony Rouge, and of course you can subscribe to us on YouTube as we have this video cast available there. You can find us at Rouge Radio Pod on the TikTok, and of course send us some emails at thenewrouge@gmail.com, and of course for all your podcast applications available, TuneIn, Spotify, Apple, you name it, we're there. Just search for Rouge Radio. And for Tony, and something just fell in the back, and I do not care about it. It's good timing. For Tony, I'm Dalts. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening. Find more great shows like this at CF Pod Network on Twitter.